Hey, hey, Hyperloop technology, everybody. It's finally coming to America. So, why am I not so excited? Why am I about to do this to the story? Well, basically, it's not about the technology. I'm not worried about Arrivo and its $10 to $15 million investment. No, it's the part where the executive director of the Colorado Department of Transportation starts talking about how, hey, if this goes well, we'll talk about whether there is an infrastructure investment here. Now, that part absolutely runs shivers down my spine, and it should for anybody who understands how economics actually work. And let me explain how. First of all, you have the little problem of once we go from Arrivo taking the risk of this entire endeavor to it being an infrastructure, quote unquote, project, then the risk is then shifted to everyone who is a taxpayer in this particular region, whether it be the entire state of Colorado, the people of Denver, the people of Boulder, and other surrounding regions. They will be then the takers of the risk in this scenario. So that's one big problem I have with that. Secondly, this isn't merely about fairness, which is important in this case. People who don't want to ride a Hyperloop shouldn't be forced to pay for it, in my opinion. But it's also about more than that. It's about what kind of outcome are we going to have for society with this Hyperloop? Is this thing going to be truly helpful, or is it going to be a massive boondoggle as many infrastructure programs end up being? You see, as long as Arrivo and this project are market-based and based on profit, Arrivo is going to succeed and fail. And by succeed and fail, I mean they'll either make money or they won't. That's all going to be based on their ability to deliver people, consumers, a product that they want, that they're willing to pay for. It's really as simple as that. However, once Arrivo gets in, presumably here, gets in with the state of California or the state of Colorado, or any other government, the federal government, any of these local municipalities, now all of a sudden they're not a market entrepreneur that has to please consumers. No, they're a political entrepreneur, which is going to succeed and fail not based on pleasing consumers, but being able to extract funding from bureaucrats. And of course, by funding, what do we mean? We mean tax dollars that they extract from us. And also, when they run out of that, at least at the federal level, they print it. And of course, politicians, namely congressmen, are the face of this bureaucracy. And what do politicians love more than anything? Well, they love extracting, yes, tax dollars from us. But here's the problem, at least from their perspective. Eventually, we, the taxpayers, are going to go, hey, enough. We don't want you to take any more of our money. Stop it. So politicians have to come up with ways to justify taking your money. And what better way to do that than some big, shiny, fancy infrastructure program? Hey guys, look, it's a new Hyperloop. It's a new bridge. It's a new this. It's a new that. Now, while politicians love new things, what they don't love is fixing the old things that are necessary. You ever heard the phrase, a stitch in time saves nine? Well, the genesis of that is pretty simple. If you have a crack in your foundation, for instance, you're going to want to fix that really quickly before it gets even bigger. And then now you've got to maybe replace your entire foundation or the whole freaking house. The whole thing's going to crumble. In other words, you want to spend a little money at first so a small problem doesn't turn into a huge problem. Unfortunately, as the California dam failures have shown us recently, most of your governments have absolutely no interest in that. You see, they get elected every 2, 4, 6-year terms, and by golly, these dams probably, they figure, I can last through my term. What do I need to spend on that for? Let's spend it on something new. Again, this is how no small business owner would ever operate. They wouldn't just wait around for their business to collapse. They wouldn't do it that way, not with their own funds. Maybe with somebody else's funds they would. See, that's the thing. People operate a lot differently with other people's money, don't they? And other people's property. How do you treat your car versus how you treat that rental car you use in Vegas? Basically, what I'm describing here is called moral hazard. When the actors and decision makers don't actually bear the costs nor the consequences of their decisions in any given situation, that's moral hazard. And the reason that's hazardous is because people make far different and far worse decisions when they don't have any incentive to avoid being wrong. I think that's pretty obvious. You ever seen the game Grand Theft Auto and the decisions people make when they play that game without consequence? This moral hazard is made even worse in the political realm by the fact that politicians have such massive control over such an incredible, incomprehensible amount of decisions. Like, for instance, where does a highway go? Where does a bridge go? Where does a Hyperloop go? Who could possibly have all this information without market forces? That's my whole contention. Free people with their own property deciding, oh, you want to build a highway or Hyperloop here, for instance? Well, if you want to go through my backyard, it's going to cost you this much. However, the government, for instance, will say, oh, sorry, we have eminent domain, and we're just going to buy that up from you. Now, you might say, well, they might give you more than market rates. Even if they do, again, it's about how do we know this is the right place for the track to go? Basically, what I'm getting at is any economic or political philosophy that doesn't take into account how human beings actually behaved is doomed for failure. And this Hyperloop project is no different. And as much as I love the technology and I'm impressed by the engineering behind the whole thing, there's no way I'm going to get past that. We're gonna see if this comes to pass and the state picks up this infrastructure plan. It's gonna be fraught with as many breakdowns and lack of cars, for instance, as the New York subway system. Mark my words.